r/AskReddit, what's the best advice you can give anyone? Use one day to plan your time in quarantine. You mustn't regret later that I wasted so many days doing nothing. Don't ever become a grumpy person who believes to know everything better than anyone. Never stop being curious and never stop learning. Sometimes it isn't worth it to argue, sometimes it's better to stop fighting. Know when to hold M, know when to fold M, know when to walk away, know when to run. You are your own responsibility, just like everyone else. Don't believe everything you hear, don't believe in everything you see. Never, ever eat yellow snow. People overestimate what they can get done in a day, but underestimate what they can do in a week. Meaning when you feel motivated, it's easy to overshoot your productivity for the day. When you don't complete everything you wanted, you become discouraged. But if you set a realistic goal for the day, and remain that productive 4 days in a row, you can accomplish a lot more. Pants first, then shoes. If you have a big decision to make, have a W first. Don't let the little head do the thinking. Life really isn't fair, and while that doesn't mean we should give in and give up trying to make it more fair for everyone, you have to embrace how unfair it is, too. Write it down, read it again tomorrow, see how crazy it sounds. That means you've calmed down and are more able to think rationally. Now write it down again and think about both sides, possible solutions, roadblocks, etc. Don't forget to take responsibility for being wrong. Don't sugarcoat it. Socks on before pants. Stay on Reddit. There are lots of good people about. Get out of debt ASAP. Life is a marathon, not a sprint. Run accordingly. Do you want to be right, or do you want to win? Most often, digging your heels in and insisting that you're right, even if you are, is counterproductive to your long-term goals. Usually being right is about feeling intellectually, morally, socially superior to someone, not about changing their thoughts or behavior. Also, periodically ask yourself, what if I'm wrong, aka, am I the bad guy here, and genuinely consider that you might be. Don't listen to advice from Redditors. Ever. Including this. If something seems too good to be true, it probably is. Don't make decisions that you know you will regret later. Be daring. Try things out. It's going to be better than you expect. If you don't get your hopes up, you'll get let down less often. Always clean your bathroom. It is dirtier than it looks. Don't go to culinary school because you think you're going to be the next Gordon Ramsay or Food Network cooking channel sensation. Also, don't think you'll walk out of there and run a restaurant. It's hard work, long hours and little pay. You'll never have a Saturday night off. If you are in charge, staffing a kitchen is a challenge. But, nothing beats the feeling of cranking out a high-volume dinner service, cleaning it all up and relaxing with the crew afterwards with some beers only to come back in a few hours to do it all again. If you do go to work in the restaurant business, you're going to meet a mix of some of the funniest, diverse, friendly and loyal people ever. Along with a lot of criminals, drug-dependent and extremely mentally unstable people. And often the people are a combination of all that. So keep your expectations realistic and have fun at the Culinary Institute of America, chef. Be the type of person you want to meet. Be the type of friend you want to befriend. Be the type of so you'd want to date. Just be yourself. No matter the circumstances, those long nights lying awake are a little easier when you know you, for better or worse, were being yourself. Life just sucks. Karma's a BTCH. Do good deeds, and don't be a snitch. Unless it can cause harm to others, then snitch anonymously. Be careful whose advice you take. See if they live by it, and where it has taken them in life. Don't burn yourself out. It's alright to take a break sometimes. Disappointment is life. Contentment is a decision. Happiness comes in moments. Under the right circumstances, duck. There's a point in your 20s when you really become a fully functioning adult. It's okay to fire the friends that are boat anchors and drama magnets in your life so you can move on. Never moon at a werewolf. On a tangent, is mooning a term outside the UK? Enjoy every day. You never know when it'll be your, or someone close to you's final day. Don't take advice from me. Leave it better than you found it. When struggling between two choices, pick the one that will make a better story. Say $$ like you really mean it. Even if it's only change in a jar. Material things will never provide long-term happiness, so don't assume they will. With that said, money will not buy happiness, but it does buy freedom. Get rid of any and all debt and invest your money. Don't fall into the capitalist rat race, instead use everyone else's stupidity to make more money via investments. If you do this and your child does this, your family tree will easily become that of multi-millionaires and you will have provided freedom. TLDR. Don't be a wage slave. Use all money to free yourself and your family. Edit. Certain index funds are great investments for people who know very little about investing. There are index funds that target anything and everything. RD automation funds, real estate, restaurants, international, etc. No need to pay an advisor. Just invest in established and proven funds that average at least 10% annual ROI. Love yourself. I've seen way too many people with anxiety and self-esteem issues. And way too often, these are the same people who go out of their way to be dependable, reliable doormats for everyone else. It's not going to work, or make you happy. There is nothing arrogant or bad about respecting and liking yourself. You are the only lifelong, loyal best friend you are ever guaranteed. And brush your teeth. A large portion of your mental anguish is caused by an unrealistic belief that reality should be different than it actually is in reality. Whenever you want to judge or be critical of yourself, think, what would I say if it wasn't me, but a friend of mine in this situation? We are often too hard on ourselves, and this mindset helps put things into perspective. That said, the solution isn't to just stop being critical of yourself. That's how you improve. See a doctor. Get rid of it. Just because you can, doesn't mean you should. Ask for help. Whether it's psych, physical, or you just can't open a jar. It's okay to ask for help. If someone makes you feel bad for asking for help, they are the a-hole, not you. And someone asks for your help, give it freely, knowing how difficult it can be. Here it is. My philosophy is basically this, and this is something that I live by, and I always have, and I always will. Don't ever, for any reason, do anything, to anyone, for any reason, ever, no matter what, no matter where, or who you are with, or where you are going, or where you've been, ever, for any reason whatsoever. Get your finances in order and live on a budget and with a plan. In achieving goals, nothing is more important than your daily routine. Whenever you feel panicked, take a deep breath. Unless you are in an actually acute dangerous situation, like in a burning house, or being chased by a lion XD. Take good care of your teeth. Not only will it look better to have a smile, but strong teeth will help you eat much faster without restrictions. Don't value your successes by someone else's metric. Your grandfather might have been an extremely successful architect, responsible for the erection of the Empire State Building. That doesn't make you a failure for working in a cubicle. Sure, your grandfather permanently changed the New York City skyline, and that's pretty amazing. But when times change, the goals for that time also change. The skyline, the goal, is different now. Don't shortchange your contributions. Don't love who makes you feel normal. Life is pain. Anyone who says differently is selling something. That being said, if the above resonates with you too strongly, talk to someone, preferably a professional, and see what you can do to find a way through the pain. Life is a mixed bag at best, but it still beats the alternative. If you act confident enough, almost no one will question you. Be generous with yourself. Life is long, you will make a lot of mistakes. Successful people don't not make mistakes, they just do their best to learn about the mistake and why they made it. If you can learn that generosity for yourself, then try to understand other people who may be struggling with their own mistakes. Don't use toothpaste as lube, it burns. Shut up and go on with your own business. Don't ever be the person who thinks these kids these days are, insert insult. Every generation before thought the next generation was soft, inept and going to ruin the world. They all felt the kids coming up had it too easy. The kids are alright, you're just getting bitter. Finish your projects. No one wants to read a half-finished novel or eat a half-finished dinner, cookie dough notwithstanding. The one thing that every single book on your shelf has in common is that someone sat down to write it and stuck at it until it was done. Don't be a C. Get off of social media. Don't get advice from the internet. This is admittedly more relevant in the professional world, but I think it's helpful in everyday life as well. Basically, if someone asks you a question, answer the question. If you provide a good answer, people will know you used some critical thought. You don't need to provide them with verbal or written diarrhea as proof. A great boss gave me some variation of that advice a couple years into the workforce, and it's proven very helpful. I started following it more in my personal life as well and found that you have a much more powerful voice if you're not terse, but to the point with people. Know that you're not the smartest person in the room and that there are lots of people around the world who are much smarter than you. This little thought will make you want to stop being content and drive you towards the path of continual growth and improvement. Don't compare your life to others. I refer your life, your body, your job. Don't listen to me. I have no idea when I'm doing. 1. Stay humble. 2. When you're embarrassed about a thing you did in the past, it's because you've grown. Nobody, absolutely nobody gives a real F about you except yourself. Quit pornography and excessive masturbation before it ruins your life. You'll become a much better person. When in doubt, go for it. Apply to the job you don't think you'll get. Ask out the person you find intimidatingly attractive. Hearing a no can hurt, but if you disqualify yourself up front you'll never experience the joy of hearing a yes. You might make it always a priority to take care of others first, but you have to remember to take care of yourself too. Stop living in the future. I was living in the future for years and only this year managed to break free from that. Living in the present will make your life so much better. No one cares about you. Hear me out. Dress as you want, be as you want, be what you want, no one cares. If someone is in a bad mood, they're in a bad mood. If everyone seems like they're in a bad mood, you're the one in a bad mood. It helps to self-raise, especially in a place like work where you can be sensitive to things and not realize it. Or maybe you didn't have enough sleep. When you have overwhelming problems stressing you out, just focus on what you can do about it, and allow yourself not to beat yourself up any further about it. I see a lot of people lose a lot of sleep over stuff that is completely out of their control. Job is laying people off. Family or friends going through hard times and illness. And sure, you're going to worry. Politics. The human condition. Whatever. It's only human to worry. But when you're in those situations, Try to have a rational moment with yourself and define what you can do about it, realistically, and commit to doing that. And when that stress comes back up, you can remind yourself, you know what, I already know what I have to do, X, Y, and Z, and outside of that, it's just out of my hands. It doesn't make everything magically better, but it's way better than beating yourself up over things you can't control anyway. You're not ugly, you're just not your type. It's okay to give up sometimes. Whether it's on an unfruitful career path that you're burnt out from, or a relationship that's grown toxic or isn't going anywhere, it's okay to call it quits and try something new if you think that's what's best for you. How you go about giving up on these things is another story. Sometimes I think that giving no advice is the right move, or at least present various options to someone. Everyone's life and situation is different, and when people give advice sometimes they are biased or skewed based on their own experiences, so when giving advice it's important to present various perspectives, I think. Take good care of your teeth. I read this in one of these types of threads a few years ago. My favorite was this, paraphrased. If you meet assholes once in a while, then that person is an asshole. If you meet an asshole every day, then you're the asshole. I also like this one from Bob Saget. If it wasn't funny the first time, it's not funny the second time.